Most things in this world involve in two opposite things, like left and right, up and down, far and near, and it also includes men and women. As the Islamic proverb stated in the Quran, and of everything we have created paths that you may remember. For that reason, education should be involved by men and women fairly as a whole. Education should not be given opportunities or focus only just for one gender. That's why I believe that learning system in the classroom will be fairer and equitable when there is a mixing between genders of the students, namely boys and girls. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our beautiful Madam NADIRA and to all my beloved classmates. I know for sure there are some of you who wonder why Malaysia or other countries do not standardize the mixed gender classrooms learning in their educational systems. You may also want to know whether mixed gender classroom learning are not good for students. Is not the exposure of learning together between both gender can enhance the development of students' knowledge? You know, whether among Western or Eastern societies, the issue of gender differences is increasingly getting high attention. This is because education system determines the direction of boy and girl students in the field of career, politics, and social status. Men is often characterized by valor, aggressiveness, independence, and dominant by considered as the head of a family, as the head of a unit, and as the head of a community. On the other hand, women who are considered more emotional, gentle, neat and shy are always been socialized as housewives, teachers, nurses and secretaries among others. Well, that is the reason why I decided to bring the topic about should boys and girls be taught in separate classrooms. Therefore, I will explain about this topic in more depth, where I would like to persuade all of you about the benefits that the student will get, like maybe yourself, your sister, your brothers or other children when they are taught in a mixed gender classroom. Being able to diversify students' ideas, opinions and thoughts is the first benefit of mixed gender classrooms. Boys and girls have a different level of thinking, mass structure and brain size from each other. There are two main components in human brain, namely white matter and grey matter. These two components not only serve as impulse transmitter to move human motors and muscles, but also assist human in thinking. According to John Suckling, women or girls tend to use white matter when thinking, where they are dominant in language proficiency skills, more details in making decisions, and are capable in multitasking. While men or boys, they are tend to use grey matters in thinking, where they can control their emotions better, make a decision without overthinking, and only focus at one job. For instance, a primary school teacher asks a girl student and a boy student to the front of the class and asks them a math questions. What is the value of 2 plus 2? And ask them to write the answer on the whiteboard. Before that, just so you know, it may look weird at first, but it will show you how different they think and state the answer. So the girl has to take a pen and a paper to calculate the question, while the boy students only calculate using his imagination. And after that, they both write the answer on the whiteboard and give the same answer, which is 4. Here we can see that the girl student is worried. If she answers just like that, the answer may be wrong, while the boy student is more unpretentious because he tends to be more focused on something without thinking about it for too long. These differences allow learning session in a classroom to be more effective, where students can learn to accept other people's opinions in a classroom. Plus, they also can gain and share knowledge that may not be known in the classroom to each other. This will indirectly stimulate students' thinking and understanding in the subject study. In contrast to a one-gender education system where ideas and opinions are limited to one gender thought only. Therefore, a mixed gender classroom session are good for developing a student's creativity of thinking, because there are many ways and perspectives on things. Additionally, they can also see things broadly, adapt and accept other people's opinions, especially from their friends opposite gender in the classroom. Enhance students' social skills and personalities is the second benefit of mixed gender classroom. Let me tell you first the meaning of social skills and personalities. Then I will explain the difference between these two aspects and the benefit that can be obtained from mixed gender classroom. Social skills is very important in every human being because this is the very basic skills that we need to have in order to interact with other people. There are three main elements under social skills, namely communication, body language skills, and cooperative skills. Good mastery social skills can help us in increased self-esteem and self-confidence, especially among students. Personality can show a person's temperament is stable and consistent, which is useful in terms of explaining human behavior patterns from a normative perspective. However, this doesn't mean that a personality can show a picture of a person's behavior or attitude. Even environmental factors or current situation also can affect someone's personalities. Now, we know roughly what does it means by social skills and personalities in general. Let us see what is the difference between these two aspects and the benefits that can be obtained from mixed gender classroom. Social skills are very important among students because it helps them to connect with their friends and teachers if in schools. The way we develop social skills is different if the student is in contact with their friends that have the same gender and with the opposite gender. It's easier to connect with the people that have the same gender because we have the nature of openness or awareness that can be related to each other. However, students cannot learn how to communicate with their opposite gender friends. They could not gain any other perspective when they always socialize and communicate within their same gender. With the mixed gender classroom system, they can explore and socialize more with their opposite friends' gender. They also can find out how they behave, think, speak, do their tasks, study, and more. This will indirectly help them to behave well when interacting with other people, especially in public. Furthermore, the social skills acquired by students are able to influence their personality, especially with the mixed gender classroom environment. But this kind of personality is a good one for students. This is because students can develop their nature of respect and be more thoughtful towards each gender. For example, a teacher in a kindergarten's classroom separated her students into two groups consisting of one group of boy students and another group is girl students. Each group was assigned to build a tower using a Lego blocks provided by the teacher. The tallest tower built by a group in an allotted time period will be the winner. 10 minutes before the time ran out, a tower built by the girls group suddenly collapsed. They feel sad, frustrated, and give up by just letting the tower fall on the floor. The boys were happy because they had won the game even though the tower built was not as tall as the girls group before it fell. However, due to sympathy for their opponent, they deliberately demolished the tower that had been built to show respect because they had competed fairly with the girls. Bridge the educational gap between genders is the third benefit of mixed gender classroom. The concept of equality is defined as negative views, thoughts, and beliefs by a person or group towards members or other ethnic groups that influence the behavior of negatively minded parties. These concepts are contrary to the will of human beings, which are men and women, where it should be free for us to shape our personal abilities and to make choices without any limitations set by stereotypes, gender roles, or prejudice, especially when it comes about education equality. If we look back to the days of Malayan society, the issue of women education have always been discussed by the community, regardless of races, whether it was Malay, Indian, or Chinese. At that time, the division of labor according to gender had been a part of tradition in Malay society, where women has been assigned to work in the kitchen, taking care of the house, husband and children. Meanwhile, men are allowed to pursue their study to the highest level in order to get the best job Nowadays, women's participation in education is seen to be increasing. However, the issue of discrimination or dissatisfaction about women in education has not faded and is still hotly be debated. A researcher named Amina Ahmad noted that women's involvement is beginning to encourage, but there is still segregation by gender, especially in technical or vocational secondary education, as well as institutions of higher learning such as polytechnics, where most female and male students are more likely to choose classes that have the same gender and subjects that are more towards their own gender. With that being said, mixed gender classroom should be applied in all schools and educational institutions from kindergarten, primary schools, secondary schools, vocational, and higher education. This will indirectly foster the nature of equality between genders in order to obtain educational opportunities in general. Students will also be nurtured with the value of everyone get a chance in any aspect. Apart from that, no students will feel excluded or marginalized for not getting the same level of education as the other gender students. Hence, a mixed gender classroom system is good in order to bridge educational gap between genders in schools. Besides that, the existence of equality in education will also provide fair opportunities in job application for the students after their studies. To sum up, I want to persuade all of you to stand by making mixed gender classroom as the only system that be applied in all schools and educational institutions, because it will benefit students to diversify their ideas, thoughts and opinions, and to enhance their social skills and personalities, and to bridge the educational gap between genders. Emma Watson once quoted, "Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong." It is time that we all perceive gender on a spectrum, not as the two opposing sets of ideas. Thank you very much. Bye!